Tonight, a deadly drug with no known antidote, worsening an already dire situation with fentanyl. It's commonly known as Tranq, now being called an emerging threat by the White House. The lethal combination of fentanyl laced with xylazine, an animal tranquilizer, leading to a declaration for a federal response plan from the Biden administration within 90 days.
This new drug could be a nightmare. It's called xylazine. It's a deadly, skin-rotting zombie drug that evil drug dealers are now mixing with fentanyl, with heroin, and with other drugs.
The DEA warning that xylazine-related overdose deaths have risen in every region of the country, more than 1,000% across the South, up 750% in the West, and more than 500% in the Midwest between 2020 and 2021. Philadelphia feeling the devastating effects on the streets. One user saying Tranq is everywhere.
There is no fentanyl that doesn't have Tranq in it.
I would say it's probably our biggest challenge right now.
NBC's Dasha Burns with the city's director of the opioid response unit last month.
How much should people be sounding the alarm right now?
I think everybody should absolutely be sounding the alarm. The movement, similar to what we saw with fentanyl, is that it will be in every other substance.
Making it even more lethal, xylazine is not an opioid, so overdoses can't be reversed with naloxone, the remedy for fentanyl and heroin overdoses, better known as Narcan.
We don't have a medical detoxification best practice yet in place for it because, again, it wasn't something meant for human consumption.
The new threat in the midst of a growing opioid crisis with more than 71,000 fentanyl-related deaths across the country in 2021. This California mother speaking out after her 15-year-old daughter Melanie Ramos died of a fentanyl overdose last year. She was discovered in her high school's bathroom.
Yo no quiero que otro padre de familia pase lo que yo estoy pasando.
Elena Ramos calling on state lawmakers to pass Melanie's law.
It establishes a foundation for schools throughout the state to provide education to not only the staff but to the students on fentanyl and opioid overdoses.
But stemming the flow of fentanyl into and around the country, a constant battle. Last year, the DEA seized more than 57 million fentanyl-laced pills and more than 13,000 pounds of powder. And the seizure of the drug nationwide through the U.S. Postal Service increased by 150%, a large portion of it smuggled across the U.S.-Mexico border.
And Valerie Castro joins us now. Thank you for joining Top Story. Valerie, what exactly does this federal plan call for?
So, Gabe, the Biden administration's drug czar, Dr. Rahul Gupta, is calling for $11 million in funding to build this strategy. Plans would include developing an antidote to combat overdoses and possibly asking Congress to classify it as a controlled substance. That declaration now starts the clock, and the Biden administration now has 90 days to develop that federal plan to combat this crisis.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.